You won't believe how this artist was caught for tracing AI. So this is posted on Twitter by Twitter user Space Ghosts. Space Ghost writes, my experience with Haku Yuan and generative AI tracing slash referencing. Please note this is my experience and this is all I have proof of. A Google Doc was dropped and the doc reads, howdy, I hate to be making this document, but it seems a lot easier than making a Twitter thread. And as many people that I know have commissioned this person, I want to bring awareness to this fact. The artist in question is Haku Yuan, and at this moment their region has been closed. And at the point of the document, Haku had done 119 commissions. Space Ghost adds that their only proof of tracing or AI referencing is their own, and that they have no evidence of this happening to other works. So, the what? Last May, I put in a request for Haku to draw my redesign and was really excited to be accepted as they appeared to have a good track record. And it was their first redesign illustration. This was the illustration they were going to announce their redesign with. Everything seemed pretty normal, and they got sketches to choose from, and they asked for small adjustments, which in hindsight, their avoidance of editing the things I asked was likely due to their dependence on the AI image they were referencing. So Haku had sent over 2 sketches, and Haku writes, hi, the draft is ready. I made A and B 2 versions. If you're not happy with both, please let me know which one's better so I can fix it in that direction. A is sitting in a laundromat, B is sitting in a washing machine, with the middle being a window to cityscape. Space Ghost adds, good afternoon, I'm a bit torn, so I'm gonna think on it for a little while. Are you comfortable if I draw over one for an idea? Haku agrees, and Space Ghost sends over the redraw with like some little accessories in the corner. And then Space Ghost says that they love A and they want to shift it down a little bit and add some clutter with some examples, and they give Haku the creative freedom. And Haku adds, yep, totally understand you're hoping for a more detailed and lively scene. I can promise once the piece is finished, there's gonna be no area left completely empty, and even the floor will have reflections and shadows. And they assure that, the sketch is normally a little simpler and things are going to look more filled in with the final illustration, and that they were going to add neon lights to the top of the washing machine. So Space Ghost says, yep, sounds great. I appreciate the clarifications. I think the neon lights would look excellent. And then Haku sends over a colored draft. And Space Ghost writes, I got the colored draft back and thought there were a few things that were kind of off. I suggested beer bottles, a Game Boy, and some plants. And as you can see in the illustration, none of that was present. So there's kind of what looks to be like cleaning bottles and a laundry basket in the corner as clutter, but maybe benefit of doubt, Haku was using some artistic freedom here. And Space Ghost writes, I took it as them wanting to stick to their vision. I feel pretty silly for this now. I asked for some minor changes, adding the parts of the hair they had missed, as well as changing the word woman to onion. So again, if you look at the neon sign, one of the washing machines says air wash, and one of the other ones says woman. Space Ghost writes, I got the finished version a few days later. I was so excited leading up to this. I think all my friends could attest to me showing off the draft and explaining my plans to print it off and use it to announce my new design at Offkai, which is a convention for VTubers, which was a really important thing to me. This was going to be essentially the key image to the entire rebrand. And then here we can see the finished illustration. So the neon sign that said woman has now been changed to onion, and then controller was added. Space Ghost writes, because I had asked for commercial rights, after fees and all, I spent $420 on this image. I'm grateful for my partners at RCJCL Ventures because this is not something I could normally afford to do on top of all the other stuff I have coming. The delivery. I asked for the Photoshop file so I could make merch with the contents. So when the commission had been delivered just in time for Offkai, I was excited to get it printed and maybe try and get a few quick physical things for promo to give away. So I opened the Photoshop and found, well, they hadn't deleted the images they traced over from my commission from the Photoshop file. What in a smoking gun? Look, don't send hate to any parties involved, okay? But normally when it comes to making like callouts and stuff about people who have used AI, you don't have a smoking gun. You have a lot of evidence that points to it with like 99% certainty. And you're like, okay, well, with all of this evidence, we can say basically without a shred of doubt that you've used AI, but there is no full-on 100% smoking gun. The AI image that was traced over, which is this one, being in the Photoshop file. I mean, come on, it's like 1-to-1. Also, I don't know what my son is doing back here, but this is literally 1-to-1. As in, if you look at it, the sticker, everything is the same in the back. The outfit is basically the same. Like, it has barely been changed. It kind of just looks like they put a filter over the AI stuff in the background and just called it a day. Like, this is just something. And the fact that Space Ghost paid $420 for something that they expected to be hand illustrated. This isn't even a paint over. This is just like a filter and like a couple things were marginally changed. Hey! Hey, stop eating the flowers, bro. Bruh. So the second screenshot added in the document is the Photoshop file itself, where the files look to be labeled in Chinese. It's a little bit too small for me to read the characters, but you can see here, it looks like there's just cutouts, right? It looks like this is like a cutout of like a torso or the leg that's been traced over. Space Ghost writes, to say that my stomach dropped is kind of an understatement, as at that point I sent the finished image to all my friends. I was so excited. And then suddenly I was just deeply embarrassed. My plans to reveal the design at Offkai were quickly dashed. I had a bit of a crash out, thinking I was at $420. Then it's like, how do I tell people about this without just showing it and ruining the design reveal entirely? I reported them to VGen and the staff immediately agreed that the evidence was cut and dry. The staff asked them to provide a time lapse, and instead the artist, to their credit, admitted to what they've done and offered me a refund immediately. I assumed they realized shortly after delivery what they had done and just been waiting for me to notice. Their account on VGen is closed as of right now, and I don't know if it will ever be reopened. I would like to also restate that I only have proof that my image was traced or referenced. I can't speak to others, and I would encourage those who have commissioned them before to reach out to them. And this is the final message Haku had sent Space Ghost. So Haku writes, of course, I've already issued the refund, and transferring money takes 3 to 5 days. I don't have control over the exact refund amount, so if the transaction fee isn't returned, let me know and I'll cover the difference myself. I want to sincerely apologize to you again. Using AI to avoid parts I struggle to draw was a serious mistake, and I deeply regret the hurt and trouble it caused you. I've decided to stop accepting commissions for a year so I can reflect on my actions and focus on improving my skills. I'm truly sorry once again. To Haku Yuan. I decided to wait until after the convention to post this, as I've had enough on my plate without this, but I'm sure you expected something like this, and I had hoped you would maybe have gotten in front of it and posted your own apology or explanation. Instead, you continued to post art and said nothing about the situation, and removed the no AI from your profile, which felt particularly ironic. I don't understand why you did it. You can clearly draw. You clearly have the skill set to do so. Instead, you let one mistake ruin your entire reputation when you knew that would happen if it were to be found out. I hope you're true to your word and don't accept commissions while you work on yourself. I hope you're honest with those you've scammed, because you did scam them, and refund them whatever you charged. I will at least give you the benefit of doubt and look forward to that progress. I was so upset that my plans were seemingly ruined, but I would like to make a special mention of my wonderful and fantastic best friend Izzy, and their handle on Twitter is Silphy, so Cilphyy, who was so incredibly angry on my behalf that powered by Enrage churned out an illustration for me to use at Offkai for the reveal. Thank you, same day printing service. Wow, that is a goat of a best friend. And this is an amazing illustration. Look at this. In the end, this illustration felt more me, and having the work of somebody I care about be what reveals the next step to everyone is everything to me. So if you got a postcard at the fan meetup, found one on the business card exchange, some of them with a little gift attached, or had one given to you by me, you now know it was made with love and a lot of effort at her own sacrifice. So thank you, Izzy. Thank you all for reading, and sorry that it had to be such a bummer, but I'm over it. I have great friends and great times ahead. And Space Ghost adds in the comments, I don't mention it in the doc, but this situation had me in tears more than once from the stress it's caused me. It sucks. Don't do this to people. If I wanted a $420 traced AI image, I could do that myself. Another commenter 399 writes, wow, the fact you caught it from a slip up like that is crazy. Thank God, because Izzy's Rage redesign is incredible. Sylphie is the best. I'm happy you got a refund without too much hassle. This sort of thing is gonna keep happening. It's wildly depressing. And then Haku put out a couple of statements, so they changed their Twitter bio to read, for now, I've decided the most sincere way I can take responsibility is to delete this account. I know I've disappointed many people, and maybe longer. And they quote retweeted Space Ghost post with a graphic that reads, personal apology. I want to sincerely apologize to everyone affected by the recent situation, especially to Ran. In one of my illustrations, I used AI-generated imagery as a reference because I was frustrated I couldn't draw what I imagined. In a moment of weakness and poor judgment, I took a shortcut I deeply regret. I feel truly ashamed for letting myself, my clients down. This was a one-time mistake. I've always tried to create with honesty and care, which makes this even harder to admit. I am truly sorry for breaking your trust. I have ensured that Rand received a full refund, and as a step to make amends. Due to financial difficulties after recently repaying a loan, I'm unable to offer additional refunds, and I understand if this disappoints anyone. I'm very sorry for any frustration this causes. If you feel uneasy or need proof, I'm willing to provide whatever I can to help restore your trust. I will be stepping back from commissions for now to deeply reflect and improve myself, not just as an artist, but as a person. Thank you for reading. And the replies to that are kind of mixed. So here we have a commenter, Vian Constel, writing, I truly have to say I'm hurt and disappointed. Not only do I love your work and look up to you, but I'm also hoping to commission you again after receiving my first piece from you. But I truly believe you'll work on yourself. I believe you'll do better and repair the trust again. And Haku writes, I'm truly sorry for the unpleasant memories I've caused. I hope that once my name fades away, you'll be able to look at the artwork on its own, without any bitterness attached. attached. Other commenters Hazumi writes, "Hi Haku, I would love proof if possible. Seeing Rand's piece be pretty much traced over is heartbreaking. The piece I commissioned is one of my absolute favorites, and it crushes me thinking it might have had AI assisting it. I'd love to put my mind at ease." And Raki Kazuki writes, "Hello, I commissioned you for cover art. Although it's lovely, I have some suspicions. I would really love to see proof of whether or not the piece is traced. I never received the Photoshop file upon request either, which worries me a bit." A situation like this where the person says, "This was the one time I did it, I swear," it's always a little finicky because typically, statistically speaking, right? How is it statistically possible the one time you did it is also the one time you got caught? It can happen, it's possible, right? More likely than not, though, right? And I don't know because I don't know Haku's process, nor do I see any of Haku's Photoshop files. But more than likely, what typically happens is this is behavior that has been done before and it's been done multiple times, and you only get caught after doing it a couple times, right? The odds of getting caught the first time are pretty low, but not zero. And other people are kind of finicky as well. So Nymphelia writes, "Absolutely heartbroken. This artist designed my outfit for my new model and delivered one of my favorite pieces. Just really sad." So they post the outfit where the art is made by Haku Yuan, and I just want to point out the irony where there is a little logo here that says no AI learning, no copying. And then this is the piece in question, which really cute outfit. And people in the comments are speculating. So Zashu writes, "It sucks indeed, but I'm gonna be real. I thought it was eerily reminiscent of AI art styles, but decided to ignore it since I can clearly see a real artist drawing like this. And sadly, AI quote art styles end quote have stunning lighting and rendering, so it's comprehensible that some artists would want their style to look like it." And Leah adds, "I had no clue, unfortunately. I think AI tracing and generating is something a lot of people struggle with recognizing. Because I work with this artist already for my design work, I didn't even consider the fact it could incorporate AI." I mean, personally, to be honest, this style is a bit reminiscent of AI artwork. The thing is, though, which is why, again, please just be cautious when it comes to like out accusing people of AI, whatever. AI is trained on human artists. So this is why there are going to be artists, right, that have an art style that looks similar to AI. It's the chicken and the egg situation, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? In this case, the artists, human artists came first. AI then came around, took 16,000 people's artwork without permission, okay, and then trained AI on it. And then now we have Gen AI that can replicate people's styles. But the artists came first. So there's many cases where there's legitimate human artists, right, who have this art style. And then the reason why their art looks similar to AI is because AI was trained on them. And then there's the flip side of the coin, people who have then taken AI generated images and then painted over it, which we know Haku has done it for one confirmed piece. But then the issue that arises then from this is that if it was done for one piece, what's to say you didn't do it for other pieces? It's kind of like a, now we can't fully trust that you did not do this with other artworks because we know you've done it before. Like, it's kind of like the cheating thing, you know? Like, if you cheated once, future partners will just be slightly suspicious because you've done it already. Is it fair? That's up to you to decide, right? People can definitely change and learn to be better. People can cheat in the past and not cheat in the future, but there will be that like air of suspicion. Another Twitter user, Astra Elena, writes, "This was the art I got from them. I was so excited to use it for merch or for my 1.5, but now I don't think I can, and I'm incredibly heartbroken and disheartened. I still love how beautiful it is, but that it was very likely AI traced upsets me to the point of tears." And this is the artwork they've received. Which again, like I was just previously stating, that is the tricky part, right? Because we know this artist has traced AI previously, what's to say that your piece wasn't traced or whatever? It just depends on whether you believe them or not. And Haku adds a couple follow-ups. They write, "I truly thought I could apologize to everyone individually, but I've come to realize it's too overwhelming. I've responded to some messages and shared what I could to prove it's not AI, and I'm very thankful to those who showed understanding and patience. For now, I decided the most sincere way I can take responsibility is to delete this account. I know I've disappointed many people, and I'm deeply sorry. I hope by leaving, those who wish to continue the artwork I've made can do so without discomfort and worry." And Hannah writes, "Many artists prefer to hide the fact they use AI. I think it was good that you talked about it knowing how people would react. I've experienced artists, the ones I've worked with, making excuses and brushing it off, and too stubborn to admit it even when faced with proof. Please don't give up, Haku. You have so much skill and talent, and I hope you keep going. I'd love to see how your art and style continues to improve." And Haku adds, "I'm truly sorry. A friend helped me realize that I shouldn't delete this account just yet. There are still many people people who haven't seen my statement, and I owe a lot of them an explanation. So I'll try my best to respond to everyone over the next 3 days, and then I'll close this account. This is a personal decision, not something I was forced into. I no longer feel I deserve to continue using this account. At the end of the day, I'm super sorry to Ran, who purchased something for $420 thinking it was legitimate hand-drawn artwork, and it ended up being very, very, very heavily traced over AI, where a lot of it just kind of looks like it was a filter and barely even painted over in general. The artist Haku seems very apologetic, and they seem like they are very willing to make amends and take the steps to move forward to be better. They've already issued a refund with no questions and owned up to the fact they've used AI. Whether you think they've used AI once or multiple times, that's up to you to decide, right? Only Haku knows the answer to this one. I personally think people can learn and grow and be better, and Haku seems like they're very open to try to improve and learn from their mistakes. So hopefully it was just like a one-time thing, and then in the future, they don't do this again. But don't send hate to any parties, right? That's just harassment. We're not out to do that. But if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. I moved, so my background's a little bit different. It's very cluttered because I was in the middle of setting up the living room. So yeah, sorry about that. I have a VGen, so check me out there. I also have a coffee with free resources for streamers and creators, and I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another one of my videos. Peace.